Greetings one and all. This is X82. As always, welcome you to this episode of X82's Unscripted. And in this episode I'll be reviewing Ratchet and Clank 2 as part of the Ratchet and Clank Trilogy collection for the PlayStation 3. Oh, Ratchet and Clank 2. You know, it was the last game on the trilogy that I played. First one was the original, then it was the third one, then it was the second one. I was very confused and dumb kid back then. Oh well, life was better than in those days. Anyway, let's see, has it stood the test of time? Or has it become like the original? Or even worse? Let's find out, shall we? Now let's start with the story of the game. It's a little bit disappointing. The story falls right after the first one. Ratchet and Clank, our heroes, then when they were interviewed on TV, they get transported to the Bogan Galaxy, and they're transported by some guy named Mr. Fish Widget. I can't say the first name, so I use the last name. To hire them to get some experiment back from a thief, which then turned out to be another Lombax named Angela, who worked for Megacorp. That is the corporation that the Mr. Fishwiz owns. And then you have sorry, brain fart. Have cutscenes that tries to figure out what happened to Quark after the first game, which turned out has a plot twist that Mr. Fishwiz is actually Captain Quark, to use the experiment, now the proto-pet, to save the Bogan Galaxy from death, because because the proto-pet was unstable and extremely violent. So yeah, it's disappointing because the villain is Quark. Yeah, villain in the game is Captain Quark. Let that sink into your mind. No. And it's not as good as the first game. I mean, yeah, German Trek, creating a new planet to sell it to his own species, not as good story. It's not as good plot as the second one's plot, but it's actually better. So yeah. And now for the presentation, which I can say it is very much improved from the first game. The landscape of every planet are more colorful than in the original, And the soundtrack has also been improved. Now, instead of having one track and having kind of one track and having every planet have different rendition of that set track, every planet has its own theme, which I can say it is much better than having just one track and different variations of it. And the voice acting is once again top notch. And there's only I have the game slowed down for a couple of times when there's too much shit going on, which gets a little bit annoying, but not much. So yeah, it's great, it's improved and just great. And now for the gameplay, which is once again improved. The enemies are not that hard. There is still a little bit of challenge in there. It's not a hard game, so to say, but it does deliver a nice enough challenge. One good addition for it is that you can strafe by holding L2 or R2, and actually one of the better improvements is that your health and your weapons can be upgraded manually by defeating enemies, which is once again better than in the first game. And there is puzzles, like puzzling moments, and there are also section where you go as huge Clank. Giant Clank, like in the first game. And also, if you have the original game save file, which with the trilogy you must have, then you can get some of the weapons for free from the first games, like the Bomb Claw, Tesla Claw, and the Rhino. But if you have to pay for them. Like Rhino cost 1,000,000 bolts. And that is also one of the setbacks, that the weapons are still expensive as fuck. That you have to grind bolts, but it's not that bad like it was in the original game, so to say. And you can also upgrade your armor, which is also a welcome change. Just as you saw, my health upgraded itself. And there's new gadgets, the dynamo which create platforms, and the tractor beam which you can move stuff Also the screenshot is back full force, and there's the Terminator, which means you can melt ice and freeze water. So yeah, it's good enough package for a sequel. Now to the replayability, which is once again improved. That is the word that I have said throughout this review. Improved. There's platinum bolts to collect to get weapon mods. There's the gladiator duels, racing with the hover bikes, if I remember that was that name. You can get every weapon from the game, plus the weapons that you get from the first game. You upgrade them, not the first one's game, the second game weapon you can upgrade. And then there's that's pretty much it. But it's improved just to get, like first game is to get gold bolts, to get the gold weapons. So yeah. And now to the final verdict. Ratchet and Clank 2 gets a 9 out of 10. It is a must-own game with an X82's seal of approval. Still pretend it's somewhere there. It is so much improved. The graphics are improved, the sound is improved, the gameplay is improved, and the replayability is improved. Everything is improved. Now it doesn't get a 10 out of 10 because of the lack of good villain in the story, and it has a little bit of slowdown problems when there's too much shit in the game. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you liked this episode, and as always, if you liked it, you can like, favorite, or even subscribe. And if you have a request for me or a question, you can comment down below. Now, next time I'll be reviewing Darksiders 2 for the Wii U. Until next time, this is X82 signing out.